Amplified Bible Classic Edition, AMPC, Luke 14. It occurred on one Sabbath when Jesus went for a meal at the house of one of the ruling Pharisees that they were engaged in watching him closely. And behold, just in front of him there was a man who had dropsy. And Jesus asked the lawyer and the Pharisees, "Is it lawful and right to cure on the Sabbath or not?" But they kept silent. Then he took hold of the man and cured him and sent him away. And he said to them, "Which of you, having a son or a donkey or an ox that has fallen into a well, will not at once put him out on the Sabbath day?" And they were unable to reply to this. Now he told a parable to those who were invited when he noticed how they were selecting the places of honor, saying to them, "When you are invited by anyone to a marriage feast, do not recline on the chief seat in the place of honor, lest a more distinguished person than you has been invited by him. And he who invited both of you will come to you and say, 'Let this man have a place you have taken.' Then with humiliation and a guilty sense of impropriety, you will begin to take the lowest place. But when you are invited, go and recline in the lowest place, so that when your host comes in, he may say to you, 'Friend, go up higher.' Then you will be honored in the presence and all who sit at table with you. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, ranked below others who are honored and rewarded. And he who humbles himself, keeps in a modest opinion of himself, and behaves accordingly will be exalted, elevated in rank." Jesus also said to the man who had invited him, "When you give a dinner or a supper, do not invite your friends, or your brothers, or your relatives, or your wealthy neighbors, lest perhaps they invite you in return, and so you are laid back. But when you give a banquet or a reception, invite the poor, the disabled, the lame, and the blind. Then you will be blessed, happy, fortunate, and to be envied, because they have no way of repaying you. And you will be recompensed at the resurrection of the just upright." When one of those who reclined at the table with him heard this, he said to him, "Blessed, happy, fortunate, and to be envied is he who shall eat bread of the kingdom of God." But Jesus said to him, "A man was once giving a great supper and invited many. And at the hour for the supper, he sent his servant to say to those who have been invited, 'Come, for all is now ready.' But they all alike began to make excuses and beg off. The first said to him, 'I have bought a piece of land, and I have to go out and see it. I beg you have me excused.' And another said, 'I have bought 5 yoke of oxen, and I am going to examine and put approval on them. I beg you have me excused.' And another said, 'I have married a wife, and because of this I am unable to come.' So the servant came and reported these answers to his master. Then the master of the house said to his servant, 'Go quickly into the great streets of the small streets of the city, and bring in here the poor and the disabled, and the blind and the lame.' And the servant returning said, 'Sir, what you have commanded me to do has been done, and yet there is room.' Then the master said to the servant, 'Go out into the highways and hedges, and urge and constrain them to yield and come in, so that my house may be filled. For I tell you, not one of those who were invited shall taste my supper.' Now huge crowds were going along with Jesus, and he turned and said to them, 'If anyone comes to me and does not hate his own father and mother,' in the sense of indifference or to relative disregard for them in comparison with his attitude toward God, and likewise his wife and children and brothers and sisters, yes, even his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. Whoever does not persevere and carry his own cross and come after follow me cannot be my disciple. For which of you, wishing to build a farm building, does not first sit down and calculate the cost to see whether he has sufficient means to finish it? Otherwise, when he has laid the foundation and is unable to complete the building, all who see it will begin to mock and jeer at him, saying, "This man began to build and was not able worth enough to finish." Or what king, going out to engage in conflict with another king, will not sit down and consider and take counsel whether he is able and 10,000 men to meet him who comes against him and 20,000? And if he cannot do so, when the other king is still a great way off, he sends an envoy and makes the terms of peace. So then, any of you who does not forsake, renounce, surrender, claim to give up, or say goodbye to all that he has cannot be my disciple. Salt is good, an excellent thing, but if its salt has lost its strength, and has become saltless, insipid, flat, how shall its saltness be restored? Is it neither for the land nor the manure heap? Men throw it away. He who has ears to hear, let him listen and consider and comprehend by hearing.